Same here.
So are you getting all fired up and dogs tuned in?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've been going out. I went out 2 times last week. I've been going out during the weekdays, just putting in some PTO, and the weekdays are up where I hunt are a lot quieter than on the weekends.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, deer season has been crazy up here. Like, I went out a couple times during the weekend, and I saw, in a place where I hardly ever see anybody, I saw 20 trucks and 40 guys coming out of those 20 trucks. And yeah, a lot of mean mugging. No one was very happy to see me with a bunch of dogs. So I've been going out during the week. It's been a little quieter.
Yeah, it's tough because like around here, we're kind of the same way. I mean, deer season, especially this year, because I mean, it's a great season. Everything got pushed back, by a week or 2 weeks, whatever it was. But, it's always been a struggle with deer season because even like hunting at night, I learned my lesson. You don't hunt Friday nights because if you don't get your dog picked up by like an hour before daylight, someone's going to pick that dog up. And I felt so bad for this guy. This guy went to like extreme lengths to get me my dog back. He Google searched, found my mom and like got a hold of her. And, I'm still on the mountain, like trying to find a dog. This was back in the telemetry days. Yeah. And, I felt bad because the poor dude, like he was headed out hunting. He picked the dog up and he, was doing me a solid, he thought. And he brought the dog back into town. So like, A, I couldn't find my dog. B, he didn't get to go hunt that morning. I felt really bad. Man.
A lose-lose situation.
Yeah. So I switched over like you're saying. I did get the dog back. Yeah. But it was same deal. We just started hunting like weeknights. And Monday through Thursday night during deer season. And like the first 2 weeks, I usually don't go out. And then the last week, because, that's the rut. Everybody's out there.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, I know it's like, hey, we have the right to be out there, but I don't like to push the issue too much, you know what I mean?
Right.
Because I haven't been big game hunting the last 2 years really. But like I used to deer and elk hunt a lot more than I do now. And I get it, if you're like all sneaking around being quiet and you have a bunch of dogs come rolling through. I get it. But, I still think we all got to share.
It's a tough balance, man. I know like that's because the thing is like I know for a fact that like dogs are not going to scare, let's say, all the game off. Like I'm not going to say they're not going to bump something out, whatever. But I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've had deer just walk across in front of the dogs when we're roading.
Oh,
or,
for sure.
Like you see these videos of a lot of the coon hunters, right? And they got a deer walking by or bedded down. But I'm like it's good PR, right? Like for houndsmen in general, we all got to get out there and get our dogs going. But like kind of being respectful of the limited season those guys get too. Yeah,
definitely. Yep.
There's no right or wrong answer, right? Somebody's going to disagree either way.
Of course. Yep. But man, I just built myself a new dog box for my truck.
I saw that.
That's been like the most time consuming thing for me lately, which has resulted in me slacking off on, getting more videos and stuff up on my YouTube channel. But, but I filmed the whole process of building my dog box. So I'm going to be making what I hope it turns out to be a really cool video about the whole design and build process. This was like my first welding project.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, it was really fun learning how to weld. And I put a lot of effort into designing it really well.
Right.
And I think it turned out pretty cool. So,
dude, the pictures look awesome. I was wondering if you were videotaping that, for like the videotape. I sound like I'm 50.
Video,
Lord. Were you videoing it? Because I thought, I kind of had in the back of my mind you did. Like if you did a project that. Yeah. And the dog box thing is so funny. I joke I could build a new box every year. Like because there's always something like you would change or the design process. Like, I'm sure Danny has spent several nights wondering, like, what the heck could I be out there doing, just staring at the bed of a pickup?
Just staring at, yeah.
You know, like drawing something out. But you did a good job, man. It looks like it's solid. That's for sure.
It's solid for dang sure. The main thing I don't like is how heavy it turned out. Mm-hmm. So I made it out of steel tubing because, well, aluminum is extremely expensive if you haven't noticed.
Oh yeah.
Like if I would have built the same design out of aluminum, it probably would have cost like well over $1,000 just for the materials.
Oh, for sure.
And then I would have had to get I did this with $130 welder off of Amazon.
There you go.
You know, like a flux core welder. I would a welder that can do aluminum, like that's way more expensive. I was going for a very small budget build.
Oh yeah.
I think I spent like $700 on the whole thing.
It's not bad, really.
Maybe
with materials.
Maybe a little less. Yeah, it was probably right around 600 or 700. But yeah, I can fit all my dogs in it now, which is good. I wanted to be able to fit 8 dogs like very comfortably.
Right.
And then have room for extras because, you always end up needing to pick up someone else's dogs and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like I could put 10 dogs in this box, no problem at all.
There you go.
Which is pretty good for my little tiny truck I roll around in.
The problem is you're going to find this out if you haven't already. It's like having extra kennels. They always get filled.
They fill up, yeah.
So you got to limit the dog box size. That's what I've got. The one now I'm at a dilemma. I might have to call Brian because I'm hunting 7 now with the puppies I just brought on. And that box really, I mean, it's like 6. It's one of those Alder Grove boxes for the mid-size pickup, right? Yeah. So it's 40 by 48. Mm-hmm. And 6 dogs in it is about all you're going to comfortably really fit. Like I got a couple that are racehorses or getting big at least, and then some that are small. So it works out. But 7, I was like, dang, man, I really need to probably go up a size. And then the over the rail box that I built, I could probably haul 20 in that thing. It's a full bed length in that Dodge. And then,
man, there you go.
They've still got full bed depth under the front toolbox. So like it's an over the rail up until the toolbox. And it's one of those like 6-inch deep, real shallow ones that go all the way across the bed.
Oh yeah.
So everything under it's all open space too. So yeah, you can cram a pile of dogs in there if you had to. Nice. But that one, like we did not put the energy in like you did. We basically took, it was a Diamond Deluxe dog like toolbox, those combos with the toolbox on top and the dog 2-door bay on the bottom.
Yeah.
Basically, we just Frankensteined that thing and we welded up a frame and all the pieces, man. It was like we took a puzzle apart. We just started cutting and putting in everything lined up so good. My buddy Brandon and we like put it all together in a day. Nice. And it's great, for that many dogs, but God, I can't load it. There's no way one guy is going to do it without, and it's awkward. Over the rails. So it's awkward. It's off balance because it's butt heavy because the gates, without the toolbox on. And then you got to get the toolbox in there and try not to break the back glass on the pickup. So, usability as far as pulling in and out, that's not real friendly, but it is nice to haul everybody in one trip and not have to leave someone home.
For sure. So I'm only hunting with 5 dogs, but I have, I think 8.
You've came a long way, Niklas.
Well, some of them are just live in the house, so I don't really,
right.
They're pretty much dead to me. Unless I want to cuddle with them.
Unless I need to stay warm.
Unless I need to cuddle a dog. But what I was thinking of, because, basically the world's about to end and we're going to go into World War III and everything. Right. So we all need to be prepared for the worst. Mm-hmm. I was thinking of it in kind of like a bug out mindset. You know what I mean? Like I need to be able to load everybody up and get the hell out of Dodge in a moment's notice. So that's why legit. I went oversized. So I got plenty of room, But yeah, it's heavy. It probably weighs. I bought 163 pounds of steel tubing, and with the plywood on
top
the
of
plywood
that.
top, I guess there's only plywood extra. I don't know. It's probably around 200 pounds.
Yeah.
So not crazy. I can feel it in the, my truck is a lot slower than it already was. But
weights it down a little bit.
yeah, I saw this bumper sticker that was, there's this Instagram account called Small Truck Campers. It's cool. It's like people who build like homemade campers and stuff for their little Toyotas and Nissans. And they make a bumper sticker that it's a turtle with a camper on the back. And it just says, I'm going as fast as I can.
I like that.
I think I'm going to need to get that bumper sticker.
I like it.
For going up the hills,
So, I mean, that was a really cool build. How long, do you think we're going to be waiting until you get that up on your YouTube?
Probably 2 weeks.
Right on.
Yeah, I ended up with a lot of footage and I got just a lot of editing to do.
Yeah.
I wanted to actually film a lot. I wanted to go for entertainment value with the video and watch someone learning how to weld. Yeah, like burning holes through the metal and everything. I was hoping to get a lot of that. But the problem, I don't know if you've ever used a flux core welder. Mm-hmm. That freaking thing, there's stuff flying everywhere. You got the slag flying everywhere. It's super smoky. It's nasty. And so I was just so worried about like molten metal hitting my camera lens that I'm like, I'm not going to burn up this camera for this. So
I don't blame you. It's probably pretty spendy.
Yeah. So I didn't get some of the more action shots that I was hoping for, but
you need to make yourself a little get a set of welding goggles and find a way to mount them on your camera,
Yeah. That'd be a good idea, actually.
Well, we should mention, let's go ahead. I know we don't ever really introduce people till we get rolling sometimes.
Right.
But I got Niklas Isaac with me. And Niklas is a very interesting individual. I mean that in the nicest way, bud. But you're a fairly new houndsman. How long have you been in this now that you're taking a sip of water?
This is my 5th season running hounds.
And you have pretty much strictly been hunting bobcats in Oregon.
As of the last 2 years, yes. I started out coon hunting, and now I have a pretty young pack still, so I've still been doing a fair amount of coon hunting just to get my younger dogs on as much game as possible.
Sure.
But yeah, it's the bobcats were really my first exposure to hound hunting from my mentor, and that's what gets me excited.
Yeah.
The whole, I love coon hunting, but there's so much different adventure. It's just, it's completely different. And it just, it checks all the boxes for me. So
what is it that hooked you? Cause I'm with you. I love coon hunting. I heck, I got to come up your way if I'm going to go coon hunting, really.
Right.
We just don't have, I guess we have them in town really, but we caught the first mountain coon we've caught in probably 5 years last season. Oh, so really? It's we just don't really have a population of them, but to see a true coon dog work in rough ground, briars, thickets, swamps, some of the best hunting I can remember was hunting Henry and Ralph up there, in your neck of the woods with the Wilcoxes and the places that they'd take, all the UKC casts. We only had a few in our club really. So, you'd hunt these places every hunt kind of, but I'd go up there and hunt with those guys, any chance that I could, or we'd hunt after the sanctioned hunt. We'd all check in at the clubhouse and we go hunting afterwards. And that is a cool thing to see, but it's very different than the mysticness, I guess, of cat hunting, varmint hunting, even big game hunting. I put in a little different category because it's bear and lion. I feel like they hook you for another reason. It's the rush, right? Like it's more of an adrenaline rush. Like you really don't know what is going to happen.
For
Where
sure.
with a cat or a fox, I kind of look at them as like, what's this tricky little thing going to try to pull on us? Are we going to be able to work it through? It's like I'm more analyzing and appreciating the dog work because I'm not so worried about the background stuff, right? Like if a dog and a cat tangle, you know, most of the time it's not that horrible for either one.
Sure.
Of them, you know,
Exactly.
but what is it for you? Like the cat hunting, I know you're hunting a beautiful part of the state too. So I'm sure that leads to it.
Yeah. So kind of a couple of different things you said, but I know so when I got invited to go, my stepdad, he's a tattoo artist, and one of his clients invited him to go on a bobcat hunt. And so he invited me, and I was like, hell yeah, let's do that.
Right.
And I remember the first thing that kind of hit me, and this was the guy who's now become like my hound mentor. The first thing that hit me when I'm sitting in the backseat of his Tacoma was I'm like, this guy spends almost all his time just driving around the woods with all his dogs.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like people go camping and people will go hiking and stuff. But it's like when you're doing what I saw him doing, it's like you're on this like whole next level of adventure.
It's like a quest.
You know what I mean? It's a quest.
Right.
And then to watch him sit there and say, you know, he was talking through the whole thing. Like, okay, the dogs, they just struck and, you know, they'd go down. I don't remember the details, but like they'd go down a draw a ways and then they'd hit the road on, you know, they'd go up another draw and hit the road.
Right.
And we'd haul butt to go catch up to them. And then they lost it. So the dogs went, you know, back up on the truck. And we were just, you know, driving around, like hitting all the little spurs, trying to figure out where this cat went. And I was like, whoa, this is way more involved than just like cutting dogs loose and they go and find it. You know, they go, oh, you're going to go walk to a tree in 20 minutes.
Right.
Like
the complexity is not something everybody can see. I don't think. Like, honestly, there are guys. And again, no disrespect at all. There are guys that don't give a whole lot of thought past, like it's either a good track or a bad track, and we either caught it or we didn't, right? Like, but then there's the guys that nerd out, you know, and when you see somebody like your mentor, is he okay with you saying his name, or are we keeping
no,
that,
he'll like physically hurt me if he wants to remain completely anonymous on the internet. So
fair enough. So John Doe has been helping you out. But like when you were watching that,
Bubba Boudreaux.
That's funny. So like, but you're rolling around with him, and even you being extremely inexperienced, like new, totally ignorant to like what happens on these kind of hunts. Like you were already seeing and picking apart, like there's a master at his craft, and it's easy to see if you have the eye for it, right? It's kind of like art.
Exactly.
You know, some people see something in something that I don't. Most of the time that's the case. But like the dogs are no different. And I think it's cool that somebody like you came in with such an open, you know, an inviting perspective. Like you're just trying to soak it all up, because I spent a lot of years in the opposite, right? Like you start thinking, oh, well, I'm catching some stuff now. I'm, you know, the big kid on the block, or, you know, getting too big for your britches per se. And you just start getting, you know, this kind of, I don't know, man, it's a weird energy about it. But then when you can look at things and see there's something to learn from every little piece, it messes with your mind. Like I'm a musician, so listening to music is very different for me. Like you analyze structure, you analyze, you know, rhythms, and it's just a different feeling that I feel like I can appreciate things differently than someone else. And these dogs, I think, are the best example of that outside of music. It's really cool to see someone like you come in and you've really hit things head on. I mean, like, you've been super involved. The hound hunting community, you've got your YouTube channel, you've got your book, which was, I think, a really great perspective, because you're not a person who, you don't try to oversell yourself in any of it, right? Like, or your accomplishments. It's like this documentary style. Just, I think it's really cool. So I do want to plug your book. So let's do that right now. Where can they find it?
Yeah, so my book is called Dog Chronicles, and it's available on Amazon. If you just search Dog Chronicles on Amazon, or you can search my name, Niklas Isaac. I also have a page on my website. I'll get you the link for it. I can't remember exactly what the URL is. Something houndonTherun.com/books or something like that. But yeah, so the book is like, I wrote it in like 4 months immediately after my first full season pursuing bobcats on my own. So, the years prior to that, I was coon hunting, but I'd also go out cat hunting with my mentor, but I wouldn't really bring any of my own dogs. Because I did one time and like my dogs couldn't keep up at all. It was just kind of pointless.
Sure.
So yeah, the book is basically, I wanted to just document the whole process of essentially learning how to bobcat hunt from scratch. And it's not fully from scratch, because I did have an old pup trainer dog, who is kind of like the main character in the book in a lot of ways. Her name was Whiskey. And so, yeah, my mentor gave me Whiskey, to help me with my younger dogs. And so, yeah, so the book is just basically, it starts at the beginning of that season and it ends, well, spoiler alert, when I caught my first, cat with my own pack of dogs.
See, that's because you're smart and you're planning for the sequel, right?
Yeah. No, I got another one in the works. I don't know if it's actually going to be like Dog Chronicles #2, but it'll be along, similar lines. Like my writing influencers are, definitely like Hunter S. Thompson and Hemingway and, those kind of cool guys. But they write like very like first-hand experience kind of style.
I really enjoy, I have not gotten through the whole book, but I have picked it up in pieces and gone through. And we've been trying to get together for this podcast for, God, probably close to a year now. We've been talking between work and, I mean, you got all that going on. You've been getting on those YouTube lives, the live streams with Brett lately, haven't you? Quite a bit.
Yeah. So I'm very lucky to be part of a little group of other hound guys who make videos on YouTube. And so a couple months ago, we started doing a series of live streams on YouTube on Monday nights. So yeah, Brett Vaughn, he has the channel called Born 100 Years Too Late, riding around the desert with his mules and hounds and stuff.
Oh yeah.
But we've heard like of him OG.
Around here.
Yeah, everyone's heard of him. He's like the OG, the original gangster YouTuber, right? For hounds, for hound stuff. Really, I mean, I can't. There probably were people posting videos before him, but like in terms of actually like, okay, creating a channel and like keeping up with it for years and years and years, like
it's insane.
He's the first guy to do that, I think.
The amount of work that guy puts in. Like, you're just trying to stay relevant, right? Like, and
oh man,
I mean, he is sharp when it comes to what he's doing, it's really cool to see.
He invests a lot. He invests a lot into learning the craft of YouTube videos, which that's what. So I started doing the YouTube stuff right after I published the book, because you need people to yep. you want people to buy your book, right? So people need to find out about you. And just posting you can't really just publish a book and not tell anyone about it and expect anyone to find it. So I started playing around with the idea of, making videos. Hey, maybe some people will find me. They'll find my book. It'll be great. But I actually, man, I've fallen in love with actually making the videos because it's its own little art form, unto itself. It's kind of like, every video is kind of like writing a book in some ways. And, you can kind of go as crazy with it as you want. Like you can spend, you can spend 10 hours on one little 30-second clip if you want to, or you can just not edit it at all and just post it. And yeah, there's a lot of YouTubers who do that and they do very well. I probably end up over editing a little too much, but I just, I don't know. I like digging in there and playing around with clips and stuff.
The content ratio is crazy. Like what you have to get to produce a 2-minute video. That's what blows my mind is like, it's not like, Brett's out there chasing something that you can just go do any night of the week. Like, if you're in coon hunting land, you can go catch coon every night and you can get footage.
Sure.
And like those guys out there that are doing that professionally, like Clayton Stark and some of those guys, it's really cool. But the fact that dude has to jump on the back of a beast and ride through the desert in hopes to just trail a lion, that's some dedication. That is a man who just truly enjoys the outdoors and the dogs and the art of like Southwest dry ground lion hunting. There's no other way to put it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but it's been fun hanging out with him and Chris, Anecdote of a Houndsman, and George Lambert, Mountain Music and Mules, who he was just on Bears. He was on with Bear. That was a great episode.
Yeah, that was an enjoyable one. He's a really interesting guy.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart, and he's a little too humble in my opinion. But
that was a wild story too. I mean, like that's the dedication though that it takes. Like, I mean, the guy literally just moved because
it's like, I guess I'll just move
like,
then. Yeah,
I can't have my dogs here. Okay, I'm out of here. Like,
definitely not getting rid of my dogs.
In my head, before it's like, well, when I was renting my place before I bought it, I'm like, what if they come in and say no? Like, I didn't know what was going to happen. And I just said, if they tell me I got to get rid of my dogs, I got to figure something else out. Like, I'll go camping. You can buy a really nice wall tent,
Yeah, exactly. Just move every 2 weeks, right? Isn't that the rule?
Right. But anybody who hasn't heard it, that was last week's episode. It was really good. But it is a cool, like, it's almost like, I've done some Zoom rooms and things with like, I did one with Ron Bain at the Hunting Dog podcast and your guys' live stream. It's really cool because it's a long form conversation. Like you guys are on there hours, it seems like, at least a couple
can go
hours.
On a long time. Yeah.
So
pushes the limits of my bladder. That's for sure.
Oh, dude, I'll bet. You guys got to just take it in shifts. Like nobody would know except for the video, I guess.
Hey, if we were a little better at running the controls, we could probably pull that off. But I don't think that's going to happen.
I'll tell you, man, the bladder effect, though, it'll change your podcast in a hurry. I won't ever forget the one time I ever had to walk out of a podcast. We were at Wisconsin and we were recording a podcast after we'd been, selling all day long. We run over and we were recording it with a bunch of the girls out there from the WBHA. And like an hour and 10 in, I'm just like, finally, I had to just set the headset down and I walked off. And it was like no conversation. I came back and we were still recording, So of course, Buddy busted my chops. But yeah, no, those 2-3 hour ones are rough in one chunk.
Yeah, definitely.
And those
definitely.
They're doing like every Monday night, aren't they?
Yeah. Yep. It's been, I think we may have skipped one, or I think we skipped a Monday, but it's been, somebody's been hosting it. It's either, Brett either does it on his interviews, stories and tales YouTube channel, or I'll host it on my channel, or Chris will do it on his. we kind of,
Right.
bounce it around, which has been cool because then, we kind of, our audiences will kind of like,
Sure.
kind of get people from each other's audiences, which is
Oh yeah.
kind of neat. But
Rising tide, man, raises all ships.
Absolutely.
Like that's the cool part about it
Yeah.
is, everybody that's working together media wide. I mean, it seems like lately.
yeah. And I think I love YouTube, and I think more people, who run hounds should be making, good, well edited videos. Don't just throw up, your
Right.
crappy. You got to make it look good. You know what I mean? But I think more people should be doing it because I feel like if you can, like I put a lot of care into making sure, okay, this video that goes up, I'm going to be proud of, okay,
Right.
how I'm representing hounds and houndsmen in general. And
Sure.
videos, like they're visual, you got the visual element and the information you're conveying all at the same time. So I feel like they're really powerful for non-hunters to be able to see, like, oh, okay, they aren't just a bunch of hillbillies,
Right.
going crazy with dogs.
For
Even though
sure.
that does happen a lot. But
Some of us
I
are
don't know.
still
I think
hillbillies.
I'm not
Myself
really
included.
yeah. It's just all that's my B-roll,
Right.
But like I don't know. I think social media is important, but I'm not very drawn to posting too much on social media, and like I just don't really get much out of it. But man, I get a lot out of just making a video and putting it up. So that's why I don't know. Yeah, YouTube has been what I've kind of dug into quite a bit, especially the last year.
Did it change the hunting for you? Because like in my mind, what I think is, here's a guy who got into hounds. Obviously, like you got bit by the bug full on. You go out, you're successful on your own. You write this book about it, documenting it. And now you're moving on to the YouTube and video. Like for me, sometimes it's really hard to even remember to take a picture when I go hunting. Like, because I enjoy the moment and I know a picture would never represent that to its full grandeur, right? Like it's a moment you have to be in. So I'm weird about that. When you're going hunting now, like, are you running through like a musician listening to music? Are you like planning out the cameras? Like, do you feel like you're giving up any of the hunt enjoyment because you're making it into some form of work in a way?
Not really. I think so I mostly hunt by myself. So like I hunt with other guys, like there's a group of guys I hunt with. We're all in the same general vicinity.
Right.
But we're mostly hunting within radio range. Like we're talking on the radio to each other all day, but we're not actually hunting together. So it's still, I still have a ton of alone time. And honestly, talking into the camera all day kind of makes the day go by a lot faster.
Yeah,
especially when nothing's happening. And then you get comments from people, like you get people commenting on your videos, responding to something you were talking about. So it's like you do end up having this like kind of broken up conversation with the people who end up watching your videos. And, they get invested into like what the dogs are doing and, how's Bruno doing that,
Isn't that
this
crazy?
hunt, that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's awesome. So the thing you said about, musician, like kind of like composing the video, that is one thing I had to get better about, is being more intentional with what I'm going to film. And because at first I was just running the camera nonstop and recording every dumb little thought that comes into my mind. And then I end up with 10 hours of video that I have to go and edit. And
to
that
5
takes
minutes, right?
Forever to get down to a 10-minute video. Yeah. That just takes forever. So now, I try to be a lot better about, I'm trying to help future Niklas out when it comes time to edit. So like I'll,
Sure.
I will just think about what I'm going to say for like a minute before I actually go and say it. So it's not like I'm scripting anything, but man, you can save yourself a lot of time editing by just thinking through what you're going to say and that kind of stuff. And, I do feel like there's people who will just post videos and not narrate anything. I like it when people narrate and talk about what they're doing and explain things that are going on.
Sure.
So I don't know. It's a little awkward at first when you're out there. It's a really awkward when you're sitting in your truck with your, doing a selfie video, and then some other houndsman drives
Rolls
right
up.
by you. But, I don't know. I got over the self-conscious stuff a while ago, but.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming like your perspective on it is different. Like you said, you're trying to help yourself out with the editing, but in a way, I would see these videos like you're trying to help future, like, quote unquote, Niklas, people that are looking at getting into this.
Yeah.
It's different to see the step by step. And I feel like it's really hard to get the picture from like just one person, right? Like
absolutely
somebody like, an experienced houndsman, right? Let's say they've been doing this forever. You're going to learn different things and you're going to pick up different pieces from them.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's going to be way different perspectives than somebody like yourself or when I started. And it's like, is there a right or wrong? No, nobody really knows. Right. In my opinion, it's what works for you. But to find all those pieces and building blocks, like somebody like you who's pretty fresh, it's nice to see because like I said before, like you're never arrogant about it. You're just super chill. Like I remember when I met you at the clubhouse, it was just like you kind of jumped into that with both feet and took a dog hunting and went and had some fun.
Right.
But like going into this season, obviously you're going to be getting a lot of content. Like that's your time of year. You only got a few months to get it. Right.
Right.
But like, what are you hoping to like build as a houndsman and document for all the people out there that want to watch? Like, what are your main goals or bridges you're trying to get over as a houndsman that you're hoping to get documented?
That's a good question. So I felt like last year and the year before, I was really like with the videos and stuff and obviously the book, like I was just mostly focused on me learning the ropes.
Mm-hmm.
This year I am trying to put a lot more focus on the dogs and how each individual dog is performing and improving. And trying to just put a lot more focus on what the dogs are doing versus what I'm thinking about and what I'm struggling with.
Right.
But I feel like I had to, like, just the last couple of days, last couple of times being out in the woods, like, you take the summer off. Like you can't really, I mean, you can get out in the summer a little bit, but it's hard. I mean, it gets so hot and, fire danger and everything. But I had a good 3 or 4 months of not really hunting a lot. And so now when I've been out there the last couple of days, it's like, I feel like I'm seeing everything with new eyes. And I've had so much time to reflect on like everything that happened the last couple of seasons, all the mistakes that I've made. It's mostly like, I'm mostly just, because I have a couple, I have three 1.5-year-old dogs that I'm getting trained up. And my older dogs, I've made so many mistakes with them. So now I recognize it's like I'm just trying not to make the same mistakes with this current batch of dogs. It's as simple as that, but man, that gets complicated because like just deer breaking. I have been having a great time with it, honestly, because I've been very fortunate that I have very forgiving dogs. Like none of my dogs are one of them, which is a house dog now.
I can guess which one.
Finn. Well, it's Finn. Not
really?
Plum.
I figured it was Plum.
No, Plum is his own special little creature. He's totally different. But basically, like I've been lucky. My dogs are super, like I could, in terms of like trash breaking and just, you finally lose your patience and that kind of stuff. Like I've had really, like my dogs have been, I really feel like we've been a good team in working through learning all this stuff. So the last couple of times I've been out, like my main dog right now is Rue. He's my full walker. He came from my mentor's dog. Like he's proven to me that he's pretty much trash broke at this point, which is an amazing feeling. And it's hard. I don't want to admit it because I don't want him to go and run and prove me wrong.
Of course.
But so I got him like anchored down. So now my other pups, they're like, I've done a lot of work with them on, not running trash. So they're doing pretty good, except for the female. Tika she just wants to chase deer like crazy. It's absurd. It pisses me off so bad. But whereas the last 2 years where I'd be guessing and like second guessing myself, well, is she maybe running a cat? Is she? Oh, maybe she got an old coon track. Maybe it's an old coon track.
Whatever we can justify at the moment.
Exactly. Now I'm just like, I feel like I'm just like, got like X-ray vision, on the situation more than I did before. You know what I mean?
Oh, hands down, a broke dog is the greatest tool that you can have.
Yeah, exactly. So, she'll go off screaming her head off, and I'm like, okay, Rue didn't go with you. So I don't think you're running anything good, and then you can make the correction. So, yeah, in terms of goals, yeah, like documenting the progress of my dogs this year and just putting more focus on them in general is a big one. And then getting those three pups, this is like my main thing I'm working on with them right now is jumping up and down, loading up on top of the dog box and getting down on command.
Sure.
So yeah, I'm making a video about that too. What's that?
Oh, that's awesome. Like mine are not like that. I've been hunting out of that little tracker and
oh yeah,
they'll load, but like you guys that do a lot of cat hunting, especially, it's like you're covering so much ground. They'll just hop down, check it, tell them load up, boom, back on the box, and you're rolling. Like, it makes you guys look really good. Let me tell you, like it's pretty impressive.
I mean, I can do it. I feel pretty good with Cooley and Rue, my older dogs now. Like they can, they're pretty snappy with it, which man, it feels good.
Yeah.
But then like you see like I'll see my mentor do it with 10 dogs all at the same time. And I'm just like,
right?
It's just like watching like an orchestra, like a conductor in a full symphony, just like timpanis,
Yeah, boom, and everybody hits.
Exactly. Yeah. So the handling, I'm always working on handling stuff. And which is why I love the hound hunting like so much more than big game hunting. Nothing wrong with big game hunting, but like I always feel like I'm productive when I go out with my dogs.
Right.
Whereas I always feel like a failure when I go out for deer or elk.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because there's something to take away from all of it. It's like even the other night I took these guys out and like you said, you got that dog that tattles, and you got the ones that are severely bent, but they're going to make a fool out of you at some point.
Yeah.
But it's like, I got this little dog. She's probably 3.5. I can't remember. Pretty close to that. And it's like, okay, when she walks back to the rig and just starts walking right next to the front tire and looking at you, she's telling on somebody.
Yeah.
And it was like one of those moments, like you've been laid up for months. This is your first trip back out and you're checking game. That was one of the biggest feelings of, I don't want to say accomplishment. Like she did it, not me. Like she's just naturally been a very straight dog from the very beginning, but it will give you a different appreciation. Like you can remember, like you're turning into a real dog now. This is really cool. And I'm excited to see like what she really does this winter. She's kind of stepping in and going to have to fill probably some other roles, where the older dogs they're getting older. And, the confidence when you see that in your dogs, and I'm sure you've seen it and you're going to see it with the younger ones. Once they start building that confidence, it's like a whole nother gear.
Right.
So that's exciting stuff, man. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be like cool that you guys are working together, with Brett and doing those and the YouTube. And again, the book, I would recommend people check it out. And you said that was only available on Amazon, right?
Well, yeah. Okay. So yeah, I guess I should mention that. So the paperback, so it's a paperback. There's a paperback version, and you can get an ebook version. So if you have a Kindle or the Kindle app on your phone, you can get that. That's all through Amazon. Like I got it set up to where I don't even. So when you order a book, Amazon prints it and ships it out. Like I don't even have to touch it, which is really nice.
I'll bet.
If anyone wants a signed copy for some reason, we can make that happen. I've had people send them to me and I'll ship them back. But
that's awesome.
But I'm about to publish the audiobook version. So for people who either don't know how to read or don't like reading or don't have time to read, like honestly me. It bums me out. I used to read so many books. I would read like 4 books a week. And I just can't I get in bed at the end of the night and it's so much easier to just like watch a YouTube video than it is to read a book. But yeah, so the audiobook is coming out very soon. I just got a couple tweaks I need to make on it, and it'll be uploaded to Audible, which is Amazon's audiobook platform, but it's also going to be, so if you have an Android phone, you can get it through the Google Bookstore. Apple has an audiobook store. The audiobook's going to be more widely available than the paperback is.
Well, I would encourage anyone check it out. It's an interesting perspective, especially like into the country that we're hunting, like the game, guys that have never chased a bobcat. It's pretty interesting. So I would encourage everybody to check it out. And Nick, I really appreciate it. I know we've been trying to do this for a long time, but we need to do it again soon. Sure, let's get through season and let's do a catch up, because like that was a pretty big milestone when you can go from, just kicking around the coon woods, having a good time to like focusing like you have and actually producing. Like that's really cool. I'm excited for you. It's been cool to watch along the way.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, anytime, man. We'll have you back. Until then, I just wish you luck. Have fun with them puppies. Just wait for the train wreck.
Oh yeah. Oh man, it's kind of like an everyday thing, but
it's that weird balance of like you want them to have enough grr and you want them to like have enough gaminess to go, but then they hit that tipping point where it's like, which track are they going to take? Because the left track is probably not a good move, but they are going to run it just as hard as they're going to run the right track.
Yeah.
Well, good luck, man. Hopefully you can get out there a little more.
Thanks, Jason. Yeah. I'm going out. It's my birthday on Thursday, so I took Thursday off of work, and I'm going to go hunting all day. So I'm very excited.
There you go. That's a good way to spend the day. I think I'm going to spend mine out in South Carolina.
Oh, nice.
Grand America. We still got to see about booking some tickets. Usually I spend my birthday cat hunting too, but I'm jealous of you this year. Well, we'll catch up soon, man. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. You have a great night.
You too.
All right. See ya.